Today we are going to start with chapter 16, Economic Liberalization and Globalization. India became independent in 1947, and by the time the economy was completely ruined. So government had to take a fast and a systematic way so that we have a speedy economic development. India initiated its 5-year plans from 1951. After every 5-year plan, or you can say at the end of the every 5-year plan, India would review the progress. India also announced monetary policy, fiscal policy and industrial policy during these plans to boost the economy. But after several 5-year plans, India could not achieve the targeted economy. So the government went through an investigation to know the failure of it, and they decided to bring a major change in its economic policy. As a result, in 1991, the government brought major reforms in its industrial policy. So we had 3 major reforms: liberalization, privatization and globalization. So these 3 reforms were known as Economic Reforms of 1991, LPG. Now let us learn about economic liberalization. Liberalization means to give economic liberty or liberalization. The gradual reduction of restriction and control imposed on private sector in order to encourage economic development is known as economic liberalization. First is, there was reservation for 18 industries. The process of obtaining license for setting up an industry was removed, means except for 18 industries. Then railway, atomic energy and defense, that was only with the government, rest all was allowed to the private sector. Now the compulsory registration for industries which was there, that was cancelled. We need to take permission or we need to take license to set up industries only if our product is going to cause pollution or it is hazardous for the environment. So it is said that the provision to take government permission for setting up industries which does not cause pollution and are not hazardous for environment was cancelled. Advantages of liberalization. As liberalization came up, private sector got the opportunity to make the development in their production or growth and develop to a great height in their production. So this increased the production in the country. Second is, global trade got boosted up because of liberalization. As the trade started between the other countries, and so foreign exchange of foreign currencies also increased. Then the next point was, internal infrastructure facility increased due to liberalization. Disadvantages of liberalization. Although government reduced several restrictions, it could not stop monopoly. During economic reforms, India paid attention to industrial sector only. As a result, India remained backward in the agriculture field. There has been increase in disparity of income. That is, a rise in income was not available proportionately to all the sections of the society. Our imports exceeded exports. This increased our foreign debts. Let us learn about privatization. The process in which ownership and management of industrial units under state control are handed over or transferred to private sector is called privatization. There are 2 methods. First, those areas which are reserved for public sector are open to the private sector. Second is, state keeps the ownership of state-owned companies under its control and gives the charge of management to the private companies. Alternatively, the state keeps management in its own hands and gives ownership to the private sector. Advantages of privatization. Privatization increased the number of production units in industrial sector. It increased production of industries that were either capital intensive or produced consumable goods. Efficiency of public sector improved due to privatization of public sector enterprise. Disadvantage of privatization is privatization led to centralization of economic power. As we said before, in liberalization also, one monopoly right comes up over there. Same way here, the entire control, economic power comes into the private area. This results in rise of evil of monopoly. Privatization majority helps the large scale industries. Cottage industries did not get much help from the privatization. Privatization could not control price. This led to the problem of price rise. As the entire sector comes under the private sector, so naturally they will think about their profit. So there won't be control of prices, as these companies previously were with the public sector, that means it was with the government, so their motto was the social welfare, so they used to control the price. Now it will be competitive, so there can only be the problem of price rise. Third concept is globalization. The process of connecting the economy of a country with the world economy is called globalization. Globalization itself, the word global is coming up. That means you are getting connected with the other part of the world or other countries. During the economic reforms, India opened itself to the world and adopted globalization. Globalization increases the flow of goods, services, technology, and labor in the world. The mutual exchange of these things benefits all the countries. Now, the following improvements has been taken place due to globalization. First is, globalization has removed the obstacle of trade between two nations. Globalization has given rise to such a system wherein capital exchange can easily take place between two nations. Obstacles in the way of exchange of technology has been removed. Globalization has led to exchange of labor freely among different nations of the world. Advantages of globalization. This has encouraged FDI, foreign direct investment. Goods produced in the developed countries can easily be obtained by developing countries. Developing countries like India can withstand competition at international level. The disadvantages of globalization are it has failed to solve the problem of poverty and unemployment to the desired extent. Developing countries have not acquired expected benefits through increased exports. Large-scale industries have acquired more benefit, while small-scale industries have obtained less benefit. World Trade Organization (WTO). This was established on 1st January 1995 by the member nations of United Nations. Its headquarters is located in Geneva in Switzerland. The World Trade Organization is a global international organization that deals with the rules of trade between nations. The objectives of WTO: to remove obstacles that stops global trade, to remove protection policy given to industries of country for foreign trade, to coordinate with global trade policy and economic policy, to solve the trade related disputes arising in the world. Now the functions are to set up the structure for implementing world trade and trade agreements and observing these agreements. World Trade Organization works as a platform for debates and negotiations related to multinational trade. WTO encourages unbiased international trade. Different nations follow their own national policies related to trade. WTO observes them and suggests for improvement if needed. Impact of WTO on India's economy. India is a member of WTO. Initially, India's contribution to the world trade was 0.5%. Later, India's export increased tremendously due to increase in international trade. India's contribution in world trade has increased to 1%. Being member of WTO has helped India to increase its export of ready-made clothes. As a member of WTO, India has been able to increase export of its agro products. Increase in export has reduced the stress faced due to high imports. Increased export will increase foreign exchange and hence ease out the foreign exchange pressure built up due to high import. Thus, being a member of WTO, India has got and will get several benefits in international trade. It should be noted that to gain these benefits, India has to agree to some conditions of WTO. The extent of these benefits depends on the speed with which India increases its infrastructure facilities and how developed countries treat India. Let us learn about sustainable development. Sustainable development is the development which meets the needs of present generation without compromising with the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. Sustainable development aims at doing development in a way that the current generation does not exploit the natural resources in such a way that the resource becomes extinct for the next generation. The concept of sustainable development emerged because of extreme effects of human activities on the nature. There is a strong fear that luxurious which present generation is enjoying may not be there for future generation. The speed and the way in which the economic development is taking place, both quality and quantity of natural resources are deteriorating. Under such a situation, it is extremely important to change the method of development and adopt practices that can save the natural resources. Following strategies should be adopted for conservation and preservation of natural resources. The renewable natural resources like cultivable farm, forest, water resources, etc. should be used in such a way that the natural essence does not deteriorate. Non-renewable natural resources such as coal, petroleum, minerals, etc. should be used judiciously. Industries set up at such locations which can reduce transportation cost and hence save petroleum and other resources. Strong efforts should be made to achieve eco-friendly development. Multiple uses of resources must be accepted. For example, irrigation project is used for more than one purpose, that is for production of electricity, flood control, etc. Natural resources should not be wasted. Systematic methods should be developed so that industrial waste and the poisonous chemical they released are disposed properly. Similarly, slums should be controlled and attempts should be made to develop proper waste disposal system in the slums. Use of non-conventional energy resources such as solar, wind, tidal, etc. should be encouraged. Steps taken to protect environment. Sweden was the first country to suggest for organizing a conference to discuss human interaction with the environment. The first Earth Conference was organized in 1972 at Stockholm in Sweden. Since then, global level conventions and camps have been organized regularly for protecting environment. During such meets, the countries discussed environmental problems and means to solve them at world level. India also participated in these meets. India has supported following efforts to check environmental problems. India gathers information about pollution condition of different cities and prepares reports. Central and state pollution control boards have been established to control pollution. June 5th has been declared as Environment Day in the world. Indian government passed Air Pollution Control Act in 1981. International agreement has been signed for checking depleting ozone layer, disposal of nuclear waste and maintenance of biodiversity. Thus, conservation of environment is everyone's responsibility. If we do not control pollution, no doubt the life on the earth will be doomed soon.